Okay. Chapter 2. Disappearance. Well, that's an ominous chapter name. Maybe it's just the disappearance of some yen from my wallet, because I'm gonna buy a nice lunch. Thanks for taking the time to meet, Inspector Kamada. Oh, Ishigami. Sorry I wasn't available yesterday when you stopped by. It's alright. You're incredibly busy. But if you have a few minutes now... Yes, of course, you can ask me anything, but let's head to the back room first. Sounds good. So what's the latest on the investigation? Any more info on the victim? Well... I'm afraid you don't have much new info, but forensics is still taking a look at that paper bag. The paper bag, you say? What's so odd about it? I heard that the paper bag itself seemed like it might have been old. Is that true? I really can't say until we get the results, but... we'll know soon enough. Okay. Let me think about that. So they still don't know how old that paper bag is. Let's find out why they didn't tell anyone about it 18 years ago. And I assume... I mean, generally you don't want to reveal details about ongoing investigations unless you really have to. I understand you kept the paper bag a secret in the previous case, is that right? That's right, I was in charge of the investigation and it was my call. I see. And we had good reason. It was a big scandal anyway, but if all the bizarre details have leaked... Well, it just seemed best not to rile folks up about details. It'll slow down our investigation. How so? Try not to rile folks up. He might be alluding to the theory I had earlier of the urban legend pre-existing these murders. Right? So the idea of like, you don't want to just come out and confirm like, oh yeah, by the way, that like super scary, spooky urban legend, it's real. I could see not wanting to do that in the middle of the investigation. Like, I would think the more grounded reason, though, is... basically, you've got this killer with a very defined modus operandi. If you can keep that information internal to the investigation, then it makes it more difficult for copycat killers to pop up and muddle the waters. Right? If no one knows that the killer here has this weird habit of putting a paper bag on all of his victims' heads, then it'll be easier to pin it all down to one person, if it is indeed one person. Now, granted, if you're the killer, you could potentially take advantage of that and be like, have some accomplices or something and tell them about the secret and be like, okay, you do this murder and you do this one, and then it'll be hard to narrow down on any of this because the police will assume one killer when really it's all three of us. But anyway, the point being, though, apparently this wasn't secret information. Though, to be frank, even if the fact that it was secret, right? In theory, we could have used that in the present to be like, okay, well then, if this has come up again, odds are pretty low that someone comes up with just the same gimmick 18 years later. So it probably would be someone who had information about the gimmick, which leaves you with, either the previous killer or someone involved with the investigation, or maybe someone, related to someone involved with the investigation. However, the fact that we also have this urban legend really doesn't even make that a useful detail at this point. Because anyone could be just trying to recreate the urban legend in real life. If it's a widespread urban legend, so... Not really helpful. Like I said, we kept the details a secret. Don't need people freaking out and slowing down the investigation. Why? Let's keep asking Inspector Kamada the important questions. I showed you the photo of the victim with the paper bag, right? If it got out to the public, there's a chance someone would try to copy it. I suppose, yeah, along the lines of what I was saying. My understanding is that we never caught the killer who committed those crimes 18 years ago. Is that right? Still haunts me to this day. Well, since the cat's out of the bag, let me share a few other shameful secrets with you. Go ahead, divulge. Please go on. Well, in addition to 3 tragic unsolved murders. Mind you, we worked on that case hard. I didn't want to see any more lives lost on my watch. But something else slipped through our fingers. Oh. We had a missing person. A young boy. Ah. And are we saying this is related to the murders? How does this tie into this? His name was Makoto Kuze. Related to the detective by chance? Kuze, you said? This boy, was he didn't happen to be enrolled in a gifted school for gifted students. Makoto Kuze? So are you saying... Yeah, it's exactly who you're thinking. He's Detective Kuze's older brother. 6 years older. He was 14 years old when he just disappeared. Yeah, good to know. Athletum. Didn't this just come out today? How do people already know this? Okay. I personally suspect that he was murdered by the same person. It was a tremendous blow to my team. Fortunately, we never did find another victim in a paper bag like that. Until now. Unfortunately, we never found poor Makoto either. To this day, he's considered a missing person. But I think it's possible, even likely, there's a connection. It's possible, I suppose. I don't know. Because it kind of depends, like, how many murders are we talking in this region in a typical time period? Like, is it common enough for there to be overlapping murder sprees from different killers, or... And probably not. Japan's a pretty low crime place on the whole, I think, but... It certainly is strange. For some reason, after the disappearance of Makoto Kuze, serial murders of young girls stopped. Could he have been the killer? I don't know, I mean, 14 would be pretty young to be a serial killer. We're not sure why, but unfortunately we haven't seen that sort of crime since then. For the record, there have been no new murder victims like this since Makoto Kuze went missing. Oh, there's another thing I should mention. We had a suspect at the time, but he disappeared shortly after the first murder. Okay. Right after the first murder. Yeah, so there were 2 disappearances back then surrounding our case. Feels like everything is connected, but we still have a few missing pieces, you know? Okay. So who went missing? Do you have any more info about the man who went missing? I suppose so. Turns out you knew the first victim from the serial girl murder case. Okay. They'd apparently been meeting up frequently. Anyhow, the same day the body of the first victim was found, we found a disturbing amount of blood in the man's apartment. It's pretty sloppy. Almost seems so sloppy it must have been a frame-up job. Oh. We thought that perhaps the man was injured in some kind of an altercation relating to the murder. It's also possible that he himself is the killer. But he's still missing along with the truth. I'm afraid we weren't able to establish a connection between him and the series of murders. Okay. Let's think about this. So there were 2 missing people involved in the case 18 years ago. A man and a boy. One was a man who apparently knew the victim. They found blood in his apartment after he disappeared. And the other was Detective Kuze's brother. Makoto Kuze has been missing this whole time. I wonder if Inspector Kamada ever met Detective Kuze as a child. Probably why she decided to become a detective. I've known Detective Kuze since she was a kid, but I don't think she remembers me much from those years. She sure has grown up, though. She's tough and sharp as a tack. Great detective. Well, that's nice. It's just... Just what? I think Kuze is working a bit too hard. Feels like she's tense all the time, always pushing. It's gotta be tough. Brother gone missing from a young age. Might be weighing on her. But what do I know? I'm no shrink. Suppose not. Let's keep asking the important questions. Still can't figure it out. All these years later. This is already on the Sasaki case, as you know. She's the best we got, reliable and always gives her all. So how is the case going? Is it possible that Yusuke was killed by the same person who killed the others 18 years ago? Well, we can't rule it out, but we should also consider the possibility of a copycat kill. Oops. Hi, Alex. Did I just... Well, there's one critical difference. Guys, I'll try not to accidentally fast forward again. There must be like a history button. There's always a history button in these games. For skip. Yeah, that's what I accidentally held. Skip mode, menu. Log on X. Great. Oh, and I can hide the text window. Good for thumbnails. Okay, so what did we miss here? So also can't ruled out, which also considers the possibility of copycat. However, since certain details of the crime scene was never made public, a copycat is pretty unlikely. Then there's a matter of the victims. I target girls, then a boy now. Indeed. Well, the thing is, though, right, the copycat killer logic of, like, it couldn't be a copycat because the details weren't public. I don't think it applies as much here because we have the urban legend with basically the details of the case. So the details are out there. Whether the copycat knows they're acting out a series of cases from 18 years ago, or if they just think they're acting out the urban legend, doesn't really matter to the same effect, regardless. There's one more critical difference. You know what it is. The victims were killed in a different manner. That's right, you seem to have a pretty good handle on the case already. As you said, the serial murders were committed barehanded. Aosuki was strangled with a cord. Of course, the killer could deviate from his modus operandi in the heat of the moment. Can't rule that out. If we are chasing the same perp, he's now 18 years older than he was. Maybe his methods changed over time. Yeah, I mean, that could... aging is a possibility. Like, let's imagine for a second, if the killer, let's say, peg him at 35, 18 years ago, right? 35. Obviously, it's not necessarily at the peak of your physical prowess, but it's well before things start falling off a cliff. You know, a fit 35-year-old, especially you're attacking teenage girls. I imagine myself like around a decade from now, and yeah, I could strangle a teenage girl to death. Don't take that out of context, please. Add 18 years onto that, though. Add 18 years onto that, and we're talking 53. Now, granted, that's still not, like, elderly. But if I'm a 53-year-old and I'm wanting to attack people, maybe I start involving some tools. Maybe I, at this point, say, you know what? I'm not sure I can just go bare knuckle against anyone I try to attack. Maybe I'd actually get some, like, a garrote wire or something going. So, yeah. I see. So the paper bag might be the only common factor. It all seems like it's coming back to that smiling man urban legend. Come to think of it, has Inspector Kamada heard of the smiling man? Question. Thus far, our only source about the smiling man has anyone independently told us about the smiling man other than Ayumi? Because obviously the way she said was kind of like matter of fact, like, oh, this is a widespread rumor that everyone knows about. I don't think any other person we've interacted with up to this point has already known it just off the top of their head. Which could mean nothing. But additionally, I will say, planting a false urban legend to explain away the modus operandi of the killer being very similar would not be a bad way to deflect suspicion. Do I think Ayumi is the killer? No. But I would like to get independent confirmation as to the validity of the urban legend. That would make me feel a lot better at using it as evidence. Anyway, let's tell him about it, though. By the way, are you familiar with the urban legend known as the Smiling Man? The Smiling Man? No, what the hell is that? Well, it relates to the paper bags you found on these victims. Paper bags with smiley faces on them. The man with such a bag on his head would appear in front of a crying girl and threaten to give her a smile forever. The victims are said to be found in the same type of paper bag with a crude smiley face drawn on it. Are you serious? That's a real urban legend. So what do you think of it? Smiling man thing. Sure, it does seem like those murders could have been the inspiration behind it. We said the information of the paper bags was never made public, right? That's right, it would have been irresponsible. Do you know, there are a lot of people at the crime scene. Paper bags could have leaked. I'll rule out a connection. Could even be the reverse, that the killer was copying this legend. See, this is what I was saying. Gotta factor in every possibility. Right? See, the thing about detective work is it's not, as you might see in like some shoddy detective media, of like looking at everything at the scene and then immediately being like, I know, it was this. You look at everything, you think of everything that could point to, and just you narrow it down. You eliminate some things as being beyond the pale, you think other things are more likely than others, and you come to a conclusion. But you gotta entertain all the possibilities before you can settle on the right one. This whole thing is such a mess. Well, it's getting late. I should get back to the investigation. I should probably excuse myself as well. Let's head to the scene of the crime so I can take a look at the spot where the body was found. But first, was there anything I forgot to ask? I don't know. Any observations? I'll think about it away now, unless there's anything else you can share with me. Let's see. As you mentioned it, you did speak with Kamihara extensively yesterday, didn't you? Yes, that's right. I know Detective Kuze is taking this case personally. And that, well, that might be putting a lot of pressure on him as her partner. Okay, well. Do you want me to do something about it? What do you think I'd come here? Dark isn't he? To say the least. But you know, he gets the results. He is a pretty good detective after all. I'll believe it when I see it. He's smart and he's got good instincts. Terrible shot, though. Well, good to know. Well, he must have seen how he gets on with Detective Kuze, as in, not well. Yeah. She returned to him again yesterday. I was here. But at the end of the day, they seem like opposites, but they're quite the duo. Yeah, believe it or not, Kamihara looks up to Kuze like a mentor. Yeah, Kuze is wound tighter than a coil. She needs that loose energy that Kamihara brings. Since the two of them started working together, Detective Kuze has really mellowed out. Good words too. I think that's Kamihara's influence. Well, glad they're getting along, I guess. Anyways, I've got a crime to solve, so I'll see you later. Thank you so much for your time, Inspector Kamada. I should be on my way now. Sure thing, if you need anything else, just stop by. I will, thank you. By the way, how old are you now, Ishigami? 19, sir. So you wouldn't have heard about those previous murders at the time they were committed? Unlikely. Certainly wouldn't have committed them to memory. No, sir. Just translating everything I can now. That's good. You need to immerse yourself to try to understand. I'm glad to hear your approach in this investigation with the right attitude. I'm hopeful that you'll bring an outsider's perspective to it. That'll be the key to our solve. Yes, sir. I'll do my best. Good, I'm counting on you. Yes, sir. Where are you headed next, by the way? Well, I was wondering if I could take another look at the crime scene. Do you mind? I'm afraid I can't let you do that. Why not? Do you want my help here or not? Just pulling your leg, rookie. I'm part of the Tsugi Detective Agency, so you get full access. Thank you. Some locations may be taped off, but you can ignore that. Go ahead and investigate. Just, yes? Don't tell Kuze. Of course not. Why would I? Why would I? How would she know? There's no way she'd know. We're at the scene of the crime. Finally. Here's the pump station where Yusuke Sasake's body was found. Got the green light from Inspector Kamada to check it out. Pump station. Okay, the body was found around here. And the question remains, what was a middle schooler doing here? In the middle of the night? An early morning passerby saw him lying strangely on the ground and called the police. I'm sure that was a terrible shock. Why would anyone have passed by here? I mean, it's not the weirdest thing. Like, joggers could be weird. Alright, well, let's look around. Well, let's start with the surroundings in general. It's a lonely place. How insightful. Okay, let's see. The bushes. The bushes seem normal. No signs of trampling or anything knocked over. Got the fence, of course. I think Isaki's body was found in front of this fence. What a lonely place. I can't help but imagine him with that terrible paper bag on his head. Warning sign. There are warning signs here. One from the police and one from the water departments. How long has this facility been here? Okay. Let's have a little think. Is this the kind of place someone would just pass by? No one's around. Let's call Yumi. How is her investigation going? Huh, she's not picking up. Guess she's busy. Okay, what else? Anything else we can look at here? Maybe the lock specifically? No? Can we go beyond this? Oh, pump station. There we go. What's going on in here? I'm strangely intrigued. Okay, let's have a look around back. I didn't see anything out of place from the back of the pumping station, but there's a path leading up to the backside of the facility. So this isn't a dead end after all. I wonder if the person who found the body came through here as some kind of shortcut. I don't see anything else of interest. Still, it's pretty spooky. It also feels like the smiling man is watching me from the shadows. Who could have come here and done such a terrible thing to Yusuke Sasaki? Let's think about this. I don't think there's any more clues here. Let's take the bus back to the office. I guess I'll call the office ahead. Hey, I'm coming back. Want to get some use out of my phone. You've reached the Utsugi Detective Agency. I'm sorry, but we are currently out of the office. Please state your name, number, and what we can help you with after the tone. A representative from my office will contact you shortly. What kind of message should I leave? Leave a joke? Leave a very serious message? Leave an invitation of Itsuki? Leave an invitation of Ayumi? Or don't leave a message? Let's leave an invitation of Ayumi. That sounds fun. That is a really good invitation. Wow. It's Tachibana. Hey, look down. You got your hands unzipped again. Prank called the office. Success. Let's see. The next bus is arriving in an hour? Oh no. It's gonna be faster to walk back. Oh, what's this? Hello? Hey, boy detective. Looks like you're working hard on our case. Thanks. Oh, Detective Kamihara. I should actually be thanking you. Oh, please. Anyway, what's up? Notice anything new? If you found something different, maybe thanks to your private investigator mindset, please let me know. I'm afraid I didn't find much. Well, let me know if you do find something, or if I can help you in any way. Isn't he supposed to be the one of the primary investigators? So how do you do, fellow human? On the way back to the station, but yeah, what? Is it about the case? How's the investigation going on your side? I'm kind of stalled out. Don't worry about me, boy detective. Anyway, if I find anything, I'll share the info with... oh, never mind. Huh? Oh, is your boss not wanting you to talk to me? I have an hour before the bus arrives. Here, I need to look at something. Hey, Kuze. Detective Kuze. You seem kind of worried, Kamara. Seems like he's returning from an investigation. Hey, can I hitchhike? It's just Detective Kamihara's car. Is it an official police vehicle? Do you have any observations you'd like to share? Have you noticed anything new here? Why is he staring at me so intensely? Well, boy detective. Yes? You got a haircut, didn't you? What? I didn't, but... Dang it, usually that's what people are looking for when they ask if you notice something new. I'm a detective! Obviously I was asking about the case. You know, the murder case that you've been assigned to. Your job. Oh boy. Look, how's the case going? Have you heard of confidentiality? I can't actually share more info with you. I was brought on to help you with the case. How do you expect me to do that if you won't give me the details of the case? Government bureaucracy is the worst. Well, now he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. You sure about that? Guess so. Anything at all. Since you asked me about noticing things, there is something that I'm hoping you notice. Did he cut his hair? Looks exactly the same. They look. Seems like he's returning from an investigation. Hair doesn't seem cut. Something seems off about him. That's for sure. Maybe now I need to look at Kuze existing. Detective Kuze. What? What is it? What are you expecting me to do, sir? Maybe I'll just make a call. No, I'm not gonna make a call. Is he being even stranger than he was yesterday? Yes, he is. Let me look at my surroundings. Detective Kamihara's car is parked here. It's another beautiful day. It's peaceful out here today. It's just Detective Kamihara's car. Is it an official police vehicle? Doesn't look like it has a license plate. You should probably deal with that. Someone's gonna pull you over one of these days, dude. I think I've used every interaction option. What is it? Sure. Is there anything else I can examine? Is your fly down? Is he being even stranger than he was yesterday? I'd say so. Detective Kamihara's car is parked here. You're darn right it is. And I've used every interaction option. I could look at the... let's see. That's the wrong guy. Detective Kamihara is working the Asuka case. He was in elementary school at the time of the murders. Had never heard of the urban legend of Emio, the Smiling Man. Seems he admires a certain police officer at the Fuku police station. He's Detective Kuze's partner. He's a bit odd and careless. But he's a good detective, and his shooting skills are the worst. Okay. I wonder if he's always been this way. Didn't I already examine him? At least they blink in this game. Yeah, it's fairly well animated for a visual novel, that's for sure. You waiting for a bus? You know, they don't come by very often. Yeah, I took a look at the schedule. Oof. It's like just thinking how it would be faster to walk back to the office. I don't do that. You get all sweaty, not a good look. And looks are hardly the most important thing in this job. Yeah, you're probably right. Well, I'd give you a ride if I could. But, yeah. What's the matter, sir? Right, maybe now I should look at Kuze. Ah. I see. Kami, we've got to go. Sorry, I'm getting called away. Hey, Kuze! Not sure if I'm brave enough right now. Come here, please, give me a ride. Come here! This doesn't come by often, does it? Yeah, it doesn't. And I can't help but notice you have a car right here. Detective Kuze. Kami. It's almost like he's apologizing with his eyes. Wait, do different? You could put me in the trunk. He approached you. It seems like something is going on with him. I guess I shouldn't hold him up any longer. I think I'll just wait for the bus, but thanks for your concern. Gotcha, I'll take care of them. See ya. Well, off they go. I guess I can look around. I'm the only one waiting for a bus. Kinda lonely. I think I'll just sit tight and wait. There's only one bus per hour and they stop running pretty early. Yeah, well, guess there's no choice but to wait for the bus. I should have passed the time. Oh, I can call up our partner and see how she's doing. Huh? The battery seems pretty low. Well, I mean, maybe I shouldn't have prank called the office so much. Now that I think of it, I don't remember charging the phone last night. And I prank called the office today. That didn't help with the battery life. I wait until it's an emergency. I should have listened to Yumi about this. Okay, well, I guess I'll just take a look at the notebook and go over my notes. Okay, I got Junka, Kaze. Detective working on the case. Works for Investigative Division 1. Has an older brother named Makoto who disappeared 18 years ago. Strict and thorough detective, but according to coworkers, she pushes herself a bit too hard at times. Her current work partner is Detective Kamehara. Okay. What? Okay, paper bag was found. Paper bag was apparently old. There were no reports of trouble with his family. It seems like Yusuke may have been talking to someone on the phone just before he died. Inspector Kamada is the lead on the cases. He's known Itsugi for a long time. He's Detective Kuze and Detective Kamehara's boss. Also led investigations 18 years ago. At that time of those killings, the info about the paper bag was not released to avoid alarming the public. Kata said that there were 2 disappearances 18 years ago as well. Makoto Kuze and a man who knew the first victim. Why didn't we get a name? We should have pressed for a name. He thinks the missing man may be connected to the murders 18 years ago, but we don't have any hard evidence tying them together. He didn't know about the urban legend known as Emio, the smiling man, until he heard it from me. Junko Kuze's older brother disappeared 18 years ago, hasn't been seen since. Disappeared around the time of the serial murders of girls. No new victims have surfaced, but a connection is unclear. He would be 32 years old if he's still alive. Okay, there's me. I exist. I'm acquainted with a police officer from the lobby. The missing man. A man went missing around the time of the serial murders of the girls. He knew the first victim. On the day the first victim's body was found, he disappeared, leaving behind a disturbing amount of blood in his apartment. He very well could be the killer. And if I committed a murder, I feel like I would... Well, I guess there's two ways to play it off. Either you just kind of try to cover your tracks and just live life as if nothing was happening, or you try to just completely escape, go completely off the grid, disappear entirely. Harder and harder to do in modern times. Though, again, this game must take place in, like, 90s, early 2000s at the latest. Just based on phone technology. Okay, well. That was a good way to pass the time, I guess. I should call out for Kuze. Can you just come pick me up? As if I'd ever say that to her for real. Kamihara! Detective Kamihara! Please come back! Just kidding. Who should I call? Oh, I can call a cab. I'll just dial 104 to get the operator to connect me. Oh, perfect. 104. I'm so smart for thinking of this. Cell phones are amazing. Thank you, Mr. Utsugi. Now's the time to use it or put the battery. What's the rush? Where am I going to? I'm going to the office, right? I'm going to the office. If I get to the office, I can charge the phone. Otherwise, I'm just waiting here for the bus for an hour. Battery management is important. Unless I forget to charge it again. I don't know. I mean, I feel like if we're not urgently having to get back to the office, maybe we just wait for the bus. Right? It's just an hour. Read a book or something? I don't know. I would wait until it's an emergency. I'm going waiting for a bus. Kinda lonely. I don't know. This is kinda... Detective Kamihara is gone. It's good to hear all the backstory about him from Inspector Kamada. I know he can seem careless, but he's actually a fine detective. He's smart and he's got good instincts. Terrible shot, though. Must have seen how he gets on with Detective Kuze. Was not well. At the end of the day, they seem like opposites, but they're quite the duo. Kuze is one tighter than a coil. She needs the loose energy that Kamihara brings. Since the two of them started working together, Detective Kuze has really mellowed out. If he's sharing that about Kuze, maybe she's just as hard on him as she is on Detective Kamihara. Still thinking, but hardly any time has passed. I don't know what to do. Now, it would be hilarious if there was actually a mechanic where you could just wait here for an hour and then the bus would show up. That'd be great. But I'm getting the feeling we might have to call and get a cab. Yeah. Maybe wait until it's an emergency. Never mind, we cannot do this. I mean, we can look around some more while we wait for the bus. Have a look at the schedule. There's only one bus per hour and they stop running pretty early. Yep. I think I'll just sit tight and wait. I don't know what to do. Wait until it's an emergency. Okay, yep. Have a look at my notes. I will go through every single page of my notebook. Fascinating. I wonder how Yumi's doing. Okay, at this side might be hard to find a taxi. This is... I should have just called a taxi. I should have just called. I can't even use my cell phone. Because I have to wait for the bus. Unless... I can't tell this is Scourgy. There's gotta be another way to call a taxi. Another way to call a taxi? I mean, what could I do? Smoke signals? I can do this, probably. Okay, let's look around at the surroundings. This hour might be hard to find a taxi. So I'm trying to find... Can I just yell out for a taxi? Okay, let's call a cab. I'm literally just yelling for a cab. I just use my mysterious powers? What? Since when? Huh? Close my eyes and... summon a taxi with my mind. Am I okay, like, mentally? Have I gone delusional? I mean, it's worked before, at one time, when I wished we'd have another sunny day. Get the sound of a car approaching. I can feel it! Come on, universe, set the cab to PI in need. Come on! What? Huh? Did I really summon a taxi? Up in, you're heading to the station, yeah? Or maybe Kuzai called it for me. What? Come on, hop in. Oh, okay.